What's up, Mike?
Was up, I guess. I'm so bad at that. I'm not a was up kind of person. I'm like, hey, how you doing?
I
Nice to see
know.
you again. But to
I
do was up all you want. There you
yeah,
go.
those Budweiser, what was Super Bowl? I don't even know, a million years
That was
ago.
a long time ago. Yeah.
What's
No,
up?
I don't want to date myself. It
Hey,
was back.
somebody watching this, they remember it too. I can promise you that.
Remember that too. They're not buying Bud Light anymore, though.
Oh, no, let's
Oh.
don't go there. Uh, speaking of buying things, though,
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, with all the news and it being so hyped up, or is it hyped up, frankly? I'm starting to wonder. It's a little nerve-wracking as a female to just go out wandering around anymore. I mean, there are cities in this country that any store you go to, you're worried about theft. You're worried about violence. You're worried about all kinds of things. So much so, Mike, that Target announced in not late December, in September of 2023,
I was
that
saying, good grief. Oh, go.
they're
You're just now
closing.
hearing about this like 10 months later? Way to be on,
I know.
on the forefront there, Kristen. All right, so September. I like it
Yes.
better. Yeah.
They are closing 9 stores in 4 different states. One is in East Harlem, then you got New York, 3 in San Francisco. Been hearing a lot about the craziness and the smash and grabs out in California. And they're saying that
Hmm.
theft and organized retail crime have threatened not only the safety of their employees, but the safety of the customers. So
Sure.
I'm torn. Is this juvenile kids being idiots and greedy and thinking they can do whatever they want? Or do we think this is more of a sign of the true economic times? I mean, when times are tough, people will do anything to get by. Granted, what they are stealing is like Apple stuff and, tennis shoes and
Apple and shoes and nice purses and stuff. I mean, yeah.
clothes or just whatever they can get their hands on, but it's not bread. It's not food. It's that I've seen.
Yeah. Well, so you said a couple different things. So first of all is concern about crime and things that are going on, but then the second is it economic? And I don't. First of all, I think if you're, and I don't want to point the finger at anybody out there who is watching our podcast and going like, oh, well, these poor starving kids are breaking into Target and stealing food.
I
But
don't know
if that's how you feel about it, the reality is that's not what they're stealing. So, and if the mindset is that it's economic, like, well, we can look at the statistics. Right now, economically, yes, we have inflation. Yes, we have some issues. But there's been a tremendous amount of government spending and help that's going out. And not to get too crazy here, Kristen, but if you take a look around at where this has become a big problem, it's typically more political. So your question about should I be more afraid about this or that, the first thing that I would want to know is where am I most likely to experience this type of crime?
big cities it looks
And if
like.
we look, it looks like it's big cities, but it also looks like it's big cities that have chosen not to prosecute theft, right, up to a certain point.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so California, not everywhere in California, but California is become somewhat famous here in the past few years for like, well, listen, I don't know the exact number, Kristen. It's somewhere around $900. Might be 950, might be 900. But as long as you steal less than $900, if that's the number, from wherever you went into, guess what? You won't be prosecuted. So I
Seriously?
mean, if you put that 100% serious. Yeah, you're not prosecuted. You're not going to be arrested. Nobody's going to come after you. So if you set that precedence, and then people are going, well, geez, how come? I don't know what the numbers are. I mean, I've seen it, but maybe it's 20, maybe it's 30, maybe it's 100 people, break into your Louis Vuitton or your Apple store or whatever. I mean, it's a free for all, right? I mean, all you got to do is get your cell phone. Hey, let's all go break into this particular store in your example, Target. as long as I steal less than, if the number's 900, I think it's close to that. As long as I steal less than $900 worth of stuff, um, I won't go to jail. I won't have anything on my record. It won't really matter. So if you set that precedence, then it's an issue. So yeah, it's a concern. I don't know that it's economic. I think it's got more to do with just the state of our economy.
See, that is
And I know
economic, though,
economy
right?
is economic, but well,
Yeah.
the economy in the sense that um, if if you're able to break into places and steal high-end goods and not be prosecuted, and then go out and resell those goods to offset whatever your additional expenses might be
I
from
guess.
inflation, I guess. I feel like it's like, well, you know what? Food costs more, so I'll go steal more. It's not. This is how messed up it is.
Mhm.
So back to your question. Well, should I be afraid to go? It doesn't sound like it's violent crime. Not that that doesn't exist. I'm not
Well,
saying
not
it's not
according
out there.
to everything I've read, Mike. I mean, they're closing it because they won't pay attention to the extra hired security officers and things like that. Like they're just pushing those people out of the
Well, they can't do
window.
their job, right? So what, I mean, but also look at your bottom line. So what's the point if I keep my store open and people can just come steal and my local government is not going to do anything about it? And now I've hired a security guard who's legally not able to actually apprehend the person who's
I
doing
see.
it. And even if they did apprehend the person, what happens if they get hurt, injured, God
Mm.
forbid, something worse along the way? If you're a major corporation like Target or any one of these other companies, you look at that and you go like, listen, this has got trouble, problems written all over it. It's got lawsuit written all over it. God forbid something happens. You know, it would be, again, we're not running any of these companies, Kristen, but if I was, I'd look at it and go, you know what would be a good idea? How about we just punt? You know, I will just, the lawsuit and everything that could potentially happen if we keep the store open is potentially worse than if we just close it. So let's just close it. And you know what's really sad about that is it ultimately it hurts those communities
Mm-hmm.
that those stores close in, right? I mean, they're the ones that suffer, not the
And hurts
people
the
that are
employees too.
stealing stuff. Employees suffer, the legit customers suffer, and so yeah, it's scary times. I'm
So
not sure how this. How do we wrap financial planning around this, Kristen? Let's see what
I
happens.
think here's how. We don't let
Okay.
the craziness of the media talking about crime get to us like I did. Do you see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Shame on you.
Well,
Yeah.
hey, I'm not a fiduciary like you. So when I see stuff like this, I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm going to ask Mike, is this a sign of the
Mhm.
times? And so in a way it kind of is, but not
It is currently
regarding
if you're in certain places, but it ties back to that again. I don't know everything about this, but from what I do know is it looks like it's in mostly in areas where local government has decided not to prosecute crime under a certain level. And if you're in one of those communities, it's potentially an issue. Now, I think if we look at that big picture, just as we are as an economy, it's got, I think, most people concerned.
Mhm.
Right is right, wrong is wrong. Whether it's, hey, listen, I'm going to go steal something because I can and nothing's going to happen to me, that doesn't make it right.
Right.
Right? Just because you can doesn't make it right. And if there's anything there when it comes to financial services and being an advisor and being a fiduciary, there's a lot of crime that happens there too, right? I mean, we've all seen the stories. There's plenty of advisors that have
Okay.
taking advantage of clients and stuff. Yeah.
Interesting pivot here that I want to ask. How often or is it often that you have people come in that are kind of like me? I've heard all these bad stories. I've read all these bad stories about financial advisors this time because they're Bernie
Yeah.
Madoff, the most infamous one, but there have been others
There's
on smaller
plenty. Yeah.
levels. Yes, absolutely. Do you have people that come in and say, "Hey, I need to make sure you're not a crook." So, I mean, how do
Well,
people
and they
figure
should.
that out?
Well, for starters, the wonderful women that come meet us, they aren't like clutching their purse, across the table from us, like something really terrible is going to happen. But we are a lot of times, and I know a lot of other financial advisors are doing the same thing. So I mean, if we're working with somebody or another financial advisor is working with somebody, you need to know they're a fiduciary, but they need to be able to back it up. Fiduciary just means that you're legally required to put your client's best needs ahead of your own. And by legally means you could be prosecuted if you did not.
But what if it's
Now,
less
does
than
that always sound true?
$900? I'm sorry, I was just making a joke.
Yeah, there's no $900 like yeah. With the fiduciary standards,
It's
probably a
different.
dollar. It's different. I mean, it's yeah. So if you go to these just crazy numbers, like, well, you could steal. So no, we could not
I
steal
got you.
up to
Okay.
$900 from clients without getting in trouble. I think the first dollar is a problem. So you just have to be, a true fiduciary. So thank goodness the rules still apply, for what we do. But again, crime is crime, right is right, wrong is wrong, and people need to know that their money is safe, and that's a big part of this transition that we see people do every week, which is that transition from earning your income, where your money comes from. It comes from the company. They withhold taxes, goes into your account. Most of the time, not all the time, they're taking care of your health insurance. You're making contributions to your retirement plan. And now, if you're in that transition phase or period where you're going from working to retirement, you're being bombarded from every financial firm out there on, well, hey, listen, we're the best, we're the best. Look at me, we'll take care of you. There are plenty of great firms out there, but there are a lot of bad firms out there. And if people can just get more information to navigate, what we would encourage people to do is make sure you're looking at fiduciaries. Stay away from products. That's our big thing, right? There's plenty of products out there.
Hmm.
I have not seen a situation. Not saying it doesn't exist, right? But I've been doing this over 25 years at this point. I have not seen a situation where a product that pays somebody a commission long term is more beneficial for that client than just working with a fiduciary that helps them, right? Actually make informed decisions along the way. I've just never seen it. And I don't think I ever will, but if I do, maybe that'll be the update to one of our podcasts here, Kristen. But right is right, wrong is wrong, crime is crime. And it's very, very obvious when people are running into Target stores and stealing stuff, right? And we just see them running out. Sometimes financial stuff isn't as obvious, but it's not any less important.
Hmm.
But also, a lot of times it's way more than $900, right? It's
For
your
life
life, and
savings. I
it's
mean,
your life savings. I mean, many many times it's significantly more than that. And so, yeah, I don't want you to be afraid to go to the store because of what might happen.
well, I'm
I
not. I'm
don't
just saying
want
it's getting
I don't
crazy out
well, I
there.
don't want our viewers to be afraid to talk to financial advisors.
Right.
But regardless, you have to be careful. You got to do your research, and just make sure that you're working with somebody that has your best interest at heart. And one way to start is working with a fiduciary, but be careful with that term because it gets it's thrown around a lot, Kristen. I mean, we're aware of people calling themselves fiduciaries, and we know they're not, right? I mean, they don't meet the definition. So be careful. Find somebody you can trust. Get multiple opinions about your situation, about financial planning, and try to settle on, one, maybe two companies, compare them, that can guide you along the way, help you make informed decisions, and be successful in retirement.
And I don't think it's a bad idea. This is just me as an average investor, is what I call myself, to say, I just want you to know that I'm sitting down with you. I would love your opinion, but I'm also going to seek the opinions of others. That way that advisor, that fiduciary knows that,
Mhm.
hey, you better show me what you got for real. Don't be holding back. Show me all the options so that
Right.
you might be best for me, then I'll know that. So,
You know, but you're going to be more confident in your decision if you talk to more than one uh, advisor or fiduciary. Yeah.
great information, Mike. Make sure you get multiple
All
opinions.
over the place, Kristen. But
I know, I'm
we went all
asking
the way.
these
We
thefts
went
and
all the way. target and crime to you being afraid, and
Passive
somehow we
aggressive.
just got that back to the financial services industry. There is crime associated with it, but yeah.
And so that's why you got to watch out for yourself. You have to be your own advocate, ask for multiple opinions, like you said. And also, we want to thank you for watching and listening to our podcast. If you have not hit subscribe, please do so here on YouTube or on your favorite podcast platform. Easy for you to say.
Thank you for watching. Go to guardingyournestegg.com for your free and objective personal financial plan.